Well, good afternoon. This is the town of Norfolk's Senior Center, the Council on Aging's herb garden. It was put in by a Boy Scout who I hope to meet a couple of years ago, and we're in the process of rehabbing it. Norma Shruan is the director here, and she helped to get the beds ready, and looks like my lettuce came up. Let's go over. Hold on. Looks a little dry. We had soaking rains the other day, which should have helped. Dill is parched. The center, a little plant, does not look well at all. In the back is German thyme, and that is a perennial which will come up every year. I made a mistake on a previous filming. Tarragon is a row of 3, the tallest that we're looking at here. And then I put in some leaf lettuce, and it's up and growing, and looks like the bugs aren't eating it. So we'll pan over here where I'm not sure. I have to go to my notes to see what's growing. Our cilantro is doing really good. And next to it is the sweet basil, which needs a little help. The purple basil, or opal basil next to it, is a little sun-scorched. And then we have parsley in each corner, and then one in the middle, which are biannuals, which they will come up again next year, and then that needs to be replanted with new sets. And then, so every other year, you only need to plant the flat leaf parsley, which I happen to like. And the weather is really gorgeous today. Things are just popping, and just look at the chives. Look at the spectacular chives, all in bloom. I cut the 2 right here in the foreground, in the middle, back, and Norma inside, and one of her helpers put them in a container with some notes, with some of the Council on Aging, all the people that come here to play games and have all kinds of fun, can take whatever is available home. Right next here to the chives, which are spectacular, is the sage, and it was pruned back, and it's just coming with new growth, new tender growth, and we're still waiting for some help to get the mint there against the bar, the bed. A board is on its way. We don't know where it is, so we're just going to have to go in and see, and there's just a bucket of sand, soil to backfill against the mint. And then in the middle here we have a burpee nasturtium seed packet, which the nasturtiums are up. Well, now, just isn't that terrific? They're gold, orange, yellowish, 3 different shades. And when the flowers bloom, they're edible, just like these chive little flowers. You pick them and put them on top of a salad when you serve it. The little ones, the big ones are a little dry. And that's the fun of gardening, that you can incorporate flowers in with your salads, and or just garnishing anything you're cooking. We can pan back. We're going to pan work as close as we can get. So that's it for today. This is Ruth signing off. Have a good day. Well, here we are at the Norfolk Council on Aging herb garden. We had it planted last week, and some of our sweet basil the leaves have little holes, which means we have some kind of insect eating them. We need to put a little water in the middle area where we have seeds planted. We have some lettuce and I have other things, seeds that I'd like to put in. Then we have tarragon. We'll sort of clue in on the tarragon. There's 3 plants, which is a lovely anise flavored, licorice flavored. Be nice and bushy. There's 3 of those. And for the dill, one of the dill is not quite happy. We think it's and then the German thyme, which will be an annual. It's right in the bottom center there by the railing. Now that we're going to stake all of these items so that people can take advantage of them as they grow. The chives are spectacular. We wish more people were in cutting them. They have lots of buds on them. And the colors are lovely. When they open up, we're looking for nice purple flowers, which you cut the top off and you put them on top of salads, and you can actually eat them along with the herb itself. And then in the back, we have sage, which is blooming nicely. It's ready for people to come help themselves. And in the very back wall, we do have the mint, and we're expecting one of the helpers or one of the gentlemen that come in here to do work cut a board to isolate the mint, the beautiful mint, from spreading into the rest of the garden. So it should be it's a project in work in management, and there's a lot of people helping. Norma Schuhan, of course, is very helpful in giving the information, and so I told her I would bring up, after the rains the next couple of days, some herbicide, which is an organic type of herbicide, to help our plants along and try to deter the little worms. They can go eat something else. We want our herbs for all the seniors that come here to the center. And it's a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful afternoon, and it's a little overcast, so it's comfortable out here filming it. You all have a great day, and we'll see more of this herb garden in progress at the Norfolk Council on Aging in the town of Norfolk, Massachusetts. Thank you. Well, good morning. It's almost noontime. Today turned out to be a very nice sunny day. We watered the garden about an hour ago, gave it a good soaking. Now I'm going to spray with a plant-based organic pesticide for the sweet basil is what's being attacked by some unknown critter. They're eating little holes in the leaves. So I'm going to take a walk over here. I'll hold up the spray so you can sort of get an indication of what we're using. I'm trying to use it as much organic material as possible. And we're going to go over, and you can watch us, me and the hose. This is a product. It's an all-natural, plant-based formula. Miracle Grow Organic Choice. All-purpose plant food concentrate ready spray. So we've hooked it up. We've let the water soak in really good from the pre-water because the soil was really wet. So we're going to turn it on. If we can figure, we need to push down this little lock here and turn this little handle and just spray the plants pretty much, which we think are being invaded, just a little bit for the others. everything else seems to be in good shape, so we don't want to really waste it. I just saw a little bug fly up on the parsley. Try and get underneath. I'll rub it in with my rubber gloves. So we'll lock this out, and then come around here. This is our green sweet basil, which will get the underleaves soaked, because that's where the invaders like to hide underneath the leaves. And then we'll have a class later on in the season how the council here, the members, are interested in collecting herbs, where to prune them so that they multiply instead of cutting them off. It should get nice and bushy, and as you go along, you get the oldest tips and pick them off and enjoy them. This is tarragon, this is German thyme. It's already rooting itself. The dill's coming along. This is tarragon. We have some lettuces planted in here. And we have some Johnny Jump Up seeds planted around the border. And nasturtiums over in the center over there, which are all plants that you can, are edible. The flower tips, the flower as they bloom, you just take them off and then trim them, and when you make a salad you just put them on top. You can do the same with the chives when these bloom, beautiful purple flowers. You just clip them off right up to the quick of the tip of the base of the flower plant that you want to put it on your salad for decoration, and you can eat it. The sage is coming along beautifully. It's in bloom. I pruned some of it. And we're still waiting for our border for the mint so that it's contained. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoy this program. And I'll keep on top of it, and we will see how nature progresses. Signing off for today, Ruth. Bye-bye. Well, hi, good afternoon. It's middle of July, I think the 14th. It is the 14th. This is Norfolk Council on Aging's little herb garden. It's a beautiful raised bed, drainage down on the bottom. It was set up by a young scout person. I'm not quite sure of his level in the Boy Scouts, but we've got some really nice herbs coming along. I picked 5 or 6 lettuce the other day. I trimmed and pruned the herbs, the basils, and the dill, and to give them a chance to bloom and grow double the stems when you prune it right. And it's looking really, really good. I'm going to walk over and take another closer look. Okay, here we are up close, and they were able to get some edging in here to contain the mint, which will come back stronger than ever. Just a wonderful hardy herb, and by retaining it with some edging, you keep the roots from jumping or going under, we hope. And then the herb, let me see, has gone to bloom. That's sage, S-A-G-E. It's a pretty fuzzy looking pretty light green new leaves, which are great for making herb dressings to go with chicken, fish, etc. Light type of dry it. You can dry it, excellent. It dries excellent, and then you just save it for the holidays, and probably all the holidays, all nationalities might use that herb. And then we have some nasturtiums in bloom again, which the flower, you can clip it off right at the very tip of the flower itself. Just leave like a fraction of the stem, and you just put it on top of your salads when you present them for dinner. They're edible. You can eat them, and they get lovely, lovely seed heads, round seeds, which if we let it go to seed, we'll have plenty of seeds for next year. Isn't that yellow one just fantastic? Let me just see if I can zoom in on that. And you can just look at the spectacular colors in that yellow. And I'll try and get underneath this orange one. They're just lovely. And I was hoping for more flower heads on this little grouping here. And we'll see how the season goes. Of course, the chives are absolutely well stocked. We need to cut back a little bit maybe at the end of the year. And in the front here, there's some lettuce heads, little sprouts of single individual lettuce seeds, which the other week I picked a whole bunch and shared them with some of the people up at Norfolk Cable TV, because the center happened to be closed that day. Now the tarragon here is coming to seed, so I'm going to clip off the seed heads so that the lower branches will branch out. And tarragon is a lovely and delicate anise flavor. Should be used fresh. It does not dry well. It will dry. It's a premium when it's fresh. And then someone has planted some peppers. Looks like a garden salsa, hot pepper. That sounds really good to me. And then up here is Big Bertha. That's also a multicolored, large pepper. The bell peppers, which would be lovely. And they're getting flower heads. I don't know what happened to the thyme. The thyme looks lost in the mist over there amongst the chives. Let's see if we can find it and rejuvenate it. Then over here we have flat leaf parsley, which is really excellent, and that should be pruned so that the lower leaves come up nice and fresh. You just take the old leaves, cut them back, and new fresh leaves will come and just proliferate. And then the dill, I also trimmed and the dill last week, and what looks like we're going to seed. It bolts very easily in this hot weather. And by bolting, I mean over here you have a very, very delicate little flower head. Pale green little flowers, which I'll just pick them off so that maybe some of the lower stems will sprout new stems. And that's how I prune my herbs. You take the older leaves and try and pinch them back to a stem that has 2 new shoots coming up off the side. So just above those 2 new shoots, just above the 2 new shoots, you go in with your scissors or your clippers and you just clip it off and use the fresh basils. And then you'll get 2 to 4 new sprouting leaves, and it just prolificates. Looks like a little cilantro has survived here. I'm not quite sure. I thought that was parsley. I'll have to stop and take a look. Okay, so it looks like the parsley is doing very well underneath, so I'm going to just clip off these raggedy leaves that are flat and the one on the bottom that is a little bit way past its time, down in the bottom left-hand corner of this frame. And so, hold on. So now on this little parsley plant, I've just trimmed off the non-good type of leaves. And in the center of this plant, parsley will be sprouting up. New fresh leaves, baby leaves, will be starting from the middle, the center of these plants. And that's how they proliferate and get themselves good herbs, nice, beautiful, fresh, flat leaf parsley. And next to it is a purple basil, which I don't think likes the hot sun. It's one of my favorite herbs. I have pruned it a couple of times so that there's some nice dark new growth, and if you just take a close look at the edge of those purple basil leaves, is a green edging on it. It's just spectacular in color. Next to it is some more parsley, which seems to be doing quite well. It's small, and then there's another parsley which needs trimming back because it will grow from the center up and out. And then we have the other purple basil. I just can't, I've never noticed the green edge on that before. Let me see if I can telephoto in a little bit. It's really interesting. I just love the colors on that. I hope you can see it. So we're going to come back and go over and check. I pruned these, the sweet basil there in the center that needs pruning. They're going to seed. So we're going to prune the center, very top grouping in that basil, and hope that that stem that has plenty of little secondary shoots on either side of the stem, which will make it bloom on sideways instead of going up and bolting. Bolting means it goes to seed. It grows fast in the hot weather. Now here on this first opal basil, you can see over here I've just clipped off all the bottom, which are not well past their prime for using. And I think I'll go back and just take this one here with my finger, and then if you look really close, you'll see on that stem and on these stems down here 2 new shoots. So these will be growing out and bushing out. That's the pruning method for basil that I found very effective. We don't want the dirt, you want to see the plant. Sorry about that. And then we have some parsley here, which is a little weed. This parsley really needs this heavy, I wish I had my pruning scissors with me. I'm going to come up and show you. They're very heavy stems, dried. And as I said, if you look down in the very center of this plant, you can see tiny new baby growth. So the more you pick the outer leaves and use them on your parsley, the more the grows in the center, fresh parsley. It'll just keep coming. And parsley is a biennial, so that it'll come up again next year, and then the plant won't, that's the end of it. So this year, or next year, if you plant the same flat leaf parsley, I think all varieties of parsley are biennials, and then you'll have a continuous crop. And this is a pretty little ground cover weed. It's succulent. It's pretty, but it eats the nutrients we don't want it to eat. So it's very close. A couple of little, oh, I don't know, maybe you'll find a 4-leaf clover. Wouldn't that be exciting? And then we're going to do on this purple basil, we're going to take off these bottom. Since I don't have my prunings with me, I'm just taking my thumb, taking off these yellow. You actually can put them in the soil to refertilize it. And then As you look in here, you'll see 2 new shoots where it's been pruned. And you're in the way there. There we go. We need a class, I think. So this is, I happen to like the opal or purple vasils. And here's another flat leaf parsley, which now you can see the new growth down there. So if someone would just come out and take these home and chop them up and put them in their pasta or put them on top of something, all of this will start sprouting new growth. Because these leaves now are not, they're at their prime. They could be a little younger. And the younger the herb, the more you cut them back, the fragrance is just wonderful. So, and here's sweet basil. I was telling you about the center here. That's going to seed when it gets a little clump. So you go in and you just take that little clump and use it. And then these side shoots down here on this stem will start growing sideways. Over here, sideways. So you take your tip, when it's close like that, it means it's going to seed. You want to get rid of that. And then all of this will bloom. You'll get it going sideways. Oh, I just smell like a herb garden. The fragrance. So, there's a little bit of dill in here. It somehow, I'm not quite sure. I think it might have been a cilantro, which is unfortunately sun-stroked. And the cilantro here also has gone to seed, which means it really just needs to come. I pruned it the other day, but it's not going to make it. Here's our flat leaf parsley. All this wonderful parsley. Someone could come in. We'll leave it for hopefully a neighbor. And then this pepper that they've found someone to help plant. And looks like they've got a lot going on there in the center, I'll tell you. Let me get the tag and see what it is. It is Big Bertha, Our Roots Run Deep bell peppers. So, look at those little peppers. My goodness. Isn't nature terrific? And then we're back to the tarragon, which is one of my favorites on the other side. So, we've lost the German thyme. It was in here somewhere. The tag is here, but the plant is gone. It is gone. So, c'est la vie. The chives are wonderful. It doesn't look like too many people are enjoying them. They're great. In the morning, on your eggs, in the evening on a baked potato. Mix them in with some sour cream and a baked potato. You've got almost a whole meal. So we're back on the back side where I've taken off to make room for the nasturtiums, and oh, that yellow one was big ant. Back to the sage. And believe me, next year this will be full of mint. That's all for today. This is Ruth signing off at Norfolk Council on the Aging, Norfolk, Massachusetts.